Hi there. So I thought basically I should explain that if you can hear some strange noises during my videos over the next week, the reason for that is because I have these guys coming today. These are my mum's budgies. Yeah, you can hear them singing already. It's Joey, Stan and Ollie, and I'm looking after them well, just for a week. They're not too noisy, but you might hear them squawk from time to time. And if that's the case, yeah, that's just what they do. So that's just an explanation. If you hear some strange noises, that would be why. That's what it is. It's the budgies. So I thought I'd get that one in there before I start filming this video. This video is the 205 Live NXT and News and Rumours Roundup thingy. So I'll start with 205 Live because there was actually some stuff that happened on this one. We had 3 matches again. This seems to be more and more how it's going now. Drew Gulak has continued his attacks on the luchadors. He really doesn't like the high flying and things like that. This is well known. He's top heel on 205 Live right now. And this week he took on Lince Dorado. Now, in his corner he had the Brian Kendrick. This is because Gentleman Jack Gallagher was actually involved in the UK tournament that was being filmed at the Royal Albert Hall this week and is going to be on the network Monday and Tuesday this coming week. So, yeah, he was, but basically Brian Kendrick had to do something and he came down to the ring to be by Drew Gulak's side. Of course, Lince Dorado had his Lucha House Party brothers with him, so it was absolutely fine. It was, the numbers game was fairly even. There was quite a good bit of back and forth. It looked like Gulak had control early on, but then Dorado did manage to take control, and just when it looked like Lince Dorado had everything completely under his control, the Brian Kendrick managed to run interference, and this allowed Gulak to lock in the Gulak, and Dorado tapped out. Then we had TJP versus a jobber. TJP's not very happy with 205 Live right now. He made it clear he's not happy with the way it's being run or with Drake Maverick and all this sort of thing. And he was pushing and pushing and pushing right before he went down to the ring. The local jobber basically stood no chance. The bell didn't even ring. The matchup never really took place. TJP just completely attacked him. And this ended up in a no contest. This is clearly a plotline device to show that TJP is not very happy at the moment with the way 205 Live is being run. The final match we had was Hideo Itami in a triple threat match against Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy. This has been rumbling on for a little while. Hideo Itami's got it in for everybody, it seems, in 205 Live at the moment. And Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy have been clamouring for a match for ages, so Drake Maverick made the match. It looked like at some point, very early on in the match, that Buddy Murphy had control. He was out very fast with his kicks and his hits and really seemed to have that under control. Managed to get Tommy outside the ring. Ali managed to get involved. So the midsection was pretty much Murphy versus Ali until Itami was able to get back in the ring and do his thing. The action was sort of in the ring, it was out the ring. You had Ali taking control just after that particular section when Buddy Murphy was out of it for a bit. And then a lot of the action took place outside of the ring. And this allowed Itami time to recover inside, which meant that by the time Ali managed to break away from Buddy Murphy and Buddy Murphy was out for the count for a little bit, Itami was able to hit Ali with a drop kick and pick up what was quite a shock win. All the momentum seems to have been with Ali recently, and Buddy Murphy just seems so powerful compared to the rest of the cruiserweights that it was quite a surprise that Itami picked up this win. But this is where it's going, because he's basically being set up to be the most hated of all the heels on 205 Live right now. It's quite interesting. He's a bit of a loner. A lot of the other heels working together, such as Brian Kendrick and Drew Gulak and Gentleman Jack Gallagher, they're all kind of working together at the moment, but Itami seems to be going it alone, for reasons that at the moment seem to remain his own. So this is something that's going to unfold over the next few weeks, and I'll keep you up to date, obviously, with whatever happens. NXT. Now, the NXT following the takeover is a bit of a strange one. It's basically a recap show. It essentially gets you up to date with what happened at takeover, because NXT is a bit different. with SmackDown Live, with Raw, and with 205 Live, they're broadcast live. You have Raw and SmackDown, which are broadcast live on television. 205 Live is broadcast live on the network. NXT is pre-recorded. They can record a few shows in a night, which is why you'll quite often have one show with a certain set of wrestlers, and then the following week you've got a completely different set of wrestlers on that show, because they're actually being all filmed in one night, because they've got such a stacked roster. They can get away with doing this. So it seems like wrestlers appear every other week. But as I say, following a takeover, it's basically a recap show. You get to see a lot of the highlights from NXT Takeover. You get a lot of the results. There's a lot of voiceovers just narrating what happened. So that's mostly what we got. You do get a couple of warm-up matches which are filmed at NXT Takeover, so that they can show some original matches during the course of NXT. And this week there were two. We had Dakota Kai against Bianca Belair. And for much of it, Kai was able to hold her own. It was quite impressive. She even managed to avoid whip from the hair, from that massive long braid that Belair has got. But ultimately, Belair is being set up as a future champion, and she showed her strength, and just, considering how young she is and apparently inexperienced she is, she's showing that she's actually already up there as one of the best. And she picked up the win. Then we had a tag team match, which was War Raiders against the Mighty. Remember, the Mighty used to be TM61. And the War Raiders basically were as dominant as we've come to expect them to be. They really are being set up as the next tag team champions, because how could they not be? They're just so powerful, so agile. Really surprising for such big men how they're able to throw themselves about, and it's with such control as well. So clearly that's where this is going. They will be the NXT Tag Team Champions before long. And of course, they managed to pick up the win, as you would probably expect, following a guillotine leg drop. And that was pretty much it for NXT. As I say, the rest of it was recaps of what happened at TakeOver. So there's nothing much else I can really report on NXT. That was it. Everything else has been said. Check out my NXT TakeOver vlog. That explains what happened during NXT Takeover Chicago 2. So there's some rumours and news and stuff like that doing the rounds. Rumours that Jason Jordan is actually due to come back pretty much any day, and now that we've had Money in the Bank, you can probably expect him back. I don't know which brand, nobody said. We're assuming Raw, because you've got Chad Gable on there, you've got Kurt Angle. They're clearly not done with that strange storyline. So it looks like he'll go back on Raw, and he's ready to come back any time, as soon as they're ready to insert him into a storyline, which, judging by Chad Gable's real string of losses, is probably sooner rather than later. We had a moment during the Gauntlet match on SmackDown Live where Daniel Bryan did a diving headbutt. And the WWE doctors, part of the conditions of him coming back is that he has to be given medical examination after pretty much every match to make sure that he's not picked up another concussion, because that really would be it. They would say, no more, you're out. He did a diving headbutt during his Gauntlet match, which he lasted a very long time, managed to eliminate 2 wrestlers during that time. And WWE reportedly quite worried about this. They don't want him to start getting too reckless and to put himself at risk in that manner. Up until now, him and his fellow wrestlers have actually been protecting his head during matches. It's been fairly obvious through matches that the head has been avoided completely. So I'm really hoping that he doesn't do anything too reckless and scuppers his chances of a quite long run. I know there are rumoured plans for him and the WWE title, possibly around SummerSlam time, so we really don't want to see him going out before any of this is able to come to fruition. Big Cass was released this week. That was a bit of a surprise. He was fighting in Money in the Bank against Daniel Bryan on Sunday last week, and as this is being filmed, it was Sunday last week, and by SmackDown, 2 days later, he was gone. Apparently Vince McMahon called a meeting, and that's where he fired him. It was a mixture of reasons, if the rumours are to be believed. Something to do with how he performed at Money in the Bank. He's got a lot of beef with various wrestlers back in the locker room. His whole attitude apparently has been awful since his return from injury. And let's face it, Vince always does what's best for business. And he just felt that Big Cass didn't have a place in the business. No wrestler is bigger than the company. That's always been the clear message. And he was let go. So, no more Big Cass. This seems like this. It's been a strange year for that, because, I mean, obviously his previous tag team partner who was feuding with before he got injured was Enzo Amore, and Enzo's gone, and now Big Cass is gone. It seems totally bizarre, but this is the way things work out. So, that's that. It was also announced this week, in happier news, that there's going to be a big pay-per-view style event down under. You might remember the Greatest Royal Rumble, which had a lot of controversy in Saudi Arabia. It seems that WWE is trying to get more and more of these events around the world now, to try and make it a truly global brand. Now, of course, we don't have problem with Australia hosting such an event. I mean, this week alone, you've got the WWE Championship. We have our own title over here, so it's absolutely fine. We've got something being broadcast on the network over 2 days. We had NXT come to download, and they actually did the first part of the UK tournament at Download Festival. We've had ours. We're quite happy. It's fine. And then there's this huge event that's going to take place down under. But the difference is, of course, women will be allowed to wrestle because it's Australia. And I think that's why it's so different. I haven't got a problem with this one. I had a problem with the Greatest Royal Rumble. I haven't got a problem with this one. I'm quite excited. The timing means it's going to be sort of middle of the day-ish. So we'll see how that works out. I'm up for this. I think this is a great idea. I think making it more global and having these sorts of events around the world is a positive thing. Now, there was some sad news this week. They choose now to squawk. There was some sad news this week, in that Vader passed away at the age of 63. It's a bit of a shock. It's very sudden. I think a lot of people my sort of age have very fond memories of Vader from their childhood. And, it was very sad to hear this announcement this week. And my thoughts are obviously with his family and friends, and, of course, the other fans who've been affected by this loss, because it's incredibly sad. So, see you next time.